Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I'd like to seek the blessings of Radha Madhava, Radha Shyama Sundar, Radha Krishna Balaram, Bal Gopal, Gauranitai, Srila Prabhupada Guru Maharaj, and the assembled devotees. So, today is the beginning of Katyayani Vrata. And this is interesting Vrat, which is followed by the gopis of Vrindavan. And in the Bhagavatam, 10th chapter, 22nd verse, 10th canto's 22nd chapter, first verse. Sukadeva Goswami explains, Hemante Prathame Masi Nanda Vraja Kamarika Cherur Havisyam Bunjana Katyayani Archana Vratam. Sukadeva Goswami said, during the first month of the winter season, the young unmarried girls of Gokul observed the vow of worshipping goddess Katyayani. For the entire month, they ate only unspiced khichdi. This is Havishyam, which is the unspiced khichdi. So, what is it all about? It is a month-long vow of worshipping the demigoddess Katyayani, a form of Krishna's illusory energy, i.e., a form of Durga Mata. Katyayani is often worshipped for temporary material gains, but Krishna's cowherd girlfriends, the gopis, worshipped her to have Krishna as their husband. The Srimad Bhagavatam describes how the gopis followed this vrat in the chapter entitled Krishna Steals the Garments of the Unmarried Gopi Girls. At the end of Dwapar Yuga, 5,000 years ago, when Sukadeva Goswami spoke the Srimad Bhagavatam, Parikshit Maharaj heard how in Treta Yuga, Ramachandra went to the Dantakaranya forest and met the sages there. The sages prayed to Lord Ram for a loving relationship with them. They had been chanting the Gopal mantra for a long time, but Ramachandra said, in this present incarnation, I cannot accept you as you desire. But when I next appear as Krishna in Dwapar Yuga, you will take birth in Braj, in the families of Gopas. At that time, I will accept you as my beloved. So when people accuse Krishna of acting immorally, they don't understand that he's actually fulfilling the desires of his devotees. He has no basis to be immoral. He's Atma Rama, he's self-satisfied. He doesn't need any outside satisfaction. He gets it internally. But he likes to please his devotees. His devotees wanted to have a loving relationship with him. But as Ram, he said, no, I can't do it. But as Krishna, when I come as Krishna, I'll fulfill your desires. So this is the most amazing thing about Lord Krishna. He fulfills the desires of his devotees. As the Lord declared, so it came to be. The sages who achieved sadhana siddhi took birth in Braj from the womb of gopis. This is described by Srila Jiva Goswami in his work Gopala Champu. So this is the description. Early in the morning, at the age of 3, these sadhana siddhi siddha gopis were collecting flowers and peacock feathers near the bank of the Yamuna. They had natural love for Krishna. Therefore, they collected anything that gives Krishna happiness. As the young girls were doing this, a beautiful flute sound entered their ears and made their hearts restless. They sat and closed their eyes and only drank this nectar, losing taste for everything else. After a long time, their external senses returned, but their bodies had no strength remaining. They felt empty and lost. When they returned home, their parents were concerned for them, seeing that they did not eat anything and appeared morose. The gopis would not respond to the inquiries of their parents and only remained in the corner of their rooms, weeping. When other gopis came to visit, they did not speak to each other, but only sat and cried together without expressing the pain that was overwhelming their hearts. Oops. The next morning at 3 a.m., these gopis went in groups to the banks of the Yamuna. As they walked, they sang together, and this uplifted their hearts somewhat. Arriving at the Yamuna, they prayed there, bathed, and sang of the beauty and pastimes of Krishna. For some time, the gopis continued this practice. Gradually, their longing for Krishna increased until it was unbearable. On the first day of Hemanta season, Bhagavati Purnamasi arrived at the Yamuna. So Bhagavati Purnamasi is an amazing personality who makes a lot of arrangements for Radha and Krishna to be together. Dear gopis, she told them, I understand the pain in your heart. I know why you are suffering. You heard the sound of Krishna's flute and drank its nectar. Now you cannot bear being apart from him. Although you are quite young, there are only 3. Your desire has matured. I understand everything. Today, I will give you a mantra to follow as a vrat for this month. By doing so, all your desires will be fulfilled. Every morning, continue to come here to the Yamuna. Make a deity of Devi. So that's the Katyayani Devi, out of sand, and worship her with Padya, Agya, Achaman, Pushpanjali, Bhojan, Bhog, Shringar, Asan, Arti, and Pushpanjali. Then chant this mantra intently. While meditating on your objective, Devi will directly accept your puja and fulfill your desire. So this mantra is like this. Katyayani Mahamaye Mahayoginya Tiswari Nandagopa Sutam Devi Patim Me Kurute Namaha. O Goddess Katyayani, O great potency of the Lord, O possessor of great mystic power, and mighty controller of all, please make the son of Nanda, Maharaj, my husband. I offer my obeisances unto you. So most people worship Durga Mata or Katyayani for material wealth, but the gopis, they worshipped her for Krishna, which is very acceptable. This mantra has 3 parts. So this mantra is 3 parts. Prayer to Mahamaya, the Durga Mata, external energy. She is the shadow of the internal energy, Yoga Maya. So there's 2 Mayas. Yoga Maya is Krishna's own Maya, who he puts his own devotees under that Maya so that they can have Leela. And the Mahamaya is the Maya that we're under, thinking that we are Krishna. So slight difference between the 2. Mahamaya bewilders everyone. Mahamaya makes relations between conditioned souls and then cuts these relations, as we know. Something called death. If Mahamaya cuts off one's relationship, attachment to someone, then all attraction is finished. If we pray to Mahamaya Katyayani to free us of material relationships and attachments, she will cut off our relationships and free us to serve Radha Krishna. She closes the eyes of our material friends and relatives so that they become blind to us and let us be without disturbing us. Therefore, the first prayer is to Mahamaya Katyayani. So this might sound a little harsh. We pray to Mother Katyayani to destroy our material relationships. Why? Because material relationships stand in the way of spirituality. Attachment to our friends and relatives stand in the way of Krishna, attachment to Krishna. Then the next part of this prayer is to Mahayogini. That's Yoga Maya Bhagavati Purnamasi. She establishes our relationship and connection with the Nitya Siddha Vrajit Devis. She helps us to achieve sadhana siddhi and furthermore a connection with Nitya Siddhas and Nitya Leela. Nitya Siddhas are those who are eternally liberated. They never come to this material world. They're never fallen. Or if they come here, they come out of their own free will. And the sadhana siddhis are those who are in this material world and becoming more and more purified until they become pure devotees. The prayer to Mahayogini Purnamasi is, please give us a strong relationship with Guru, Vaishnavas, and Radha Krishna. If we don't have connection with Vaishnavas, we cannot develop relationship with Krishna's eternal associates and then enter Krishna Leela. Cannot enter Krishna Leela. So Purnamasi is very important to connect us to Krishna. And then there's the prayer. The third part is to Srimati Radharani, the supreme Ishwari of all Ishwaris. As Radharani is the source of all Yogamaya, prayer to her means to accept her shelter and always serve her and follow her footsteps. Srimati Radharani, who has the power to show us and establish our relationship with Krishna. If she asks him on our behalf, then he will readily accept us as his own. One may question, why did the gopis worship Katyayani, Mother Durga? Why would she do that? Why would they worship? The gopis are higher than Durga Mata because they are completely one with Krishna. They're completely surrendered to Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada explains in the 4th verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam 10 canto, chapter 22, that Durga Devi they worship is different from the Durga Devi in the material world. That's interesting. There's 2 Durga Devis. There's one in the spiritual world, from whom expands this material Durga Devi. According to various acharyas, the goddess Durga mentioned in this verse is not the illusory energy of Krishna called Maya, but rather the internal potency of the Lord known as Yogamaya. The name Durga therefore refers to that personality who functions as the internal potency of the Lord, who thus is on the platform of Shuddha Sattva, pure transcendental existence. This internal potency is understood to be Krishna's sister, known as Ekanamsha or Shubhadra. This is the Durga who is worshipped by the gopis in Vrindavan. So this is very interesting. Gopis in Vrindavan, they worship the spiritual Durga, not the material Durga. Several acharyas have pointed out that ordinary people are sometimes bewildered and think that the names Mahamaya and Durga refer exclusively to the external potency of the Lord. So Durga can mean the Subhadra or Durga Mata in this world. In a room conversation, Srila Prabhupada said Durga is an advent of Radharani. Getting facilities to approach gopis, they worship Katyayani, forgetting Krishna as a husband. So we, according to the orders of Govinda, therefore, to approach Govinda, if one prays to Katyayani, it is very helpful. So this is the conversation. Devotees, Hare Krishna. Katyayani is also Durga, is the question. Yes, advent of Durga, the advent of Radharani, maidservant. Purnamasi gave this mantra to the gopis, and they chanted it with great determination to achieve their desired goal. So, when coming every morning to the bank of the Yamuna, they first made a deity of Devi out of sand. They became surprised to see that even after bathing the deity, she did not fall apart. They offered this deity articles in Archana and then chanted the mantra. It seemed to them that the personified deity of Devi appeared directly before them. By continually chanting the mantra, they began to feel a swelling of happiness born of awakened faith that Krishna would surely accept them and that no mundane person would be able to touch or disturb them. They felt, my body is now the property of Krishna. Krishna will protect me, allow me to serve him. After their worship and arti, the gopis offered obeisances to the deity of Yamuna Devi so that she would not be disrespected in their absence. They then returned to their homes before sunrise. During the day, the gopis fasted and remained silent and meditative. In the evening, they took a small amount of milk and fruit to maintain their bodies. the gopis' parents would ask them, what Vrata are you following? Chaturmasya is over. So what Vrata can you be following? What mantra do you chant? And who is your guru? The gopis only smiled and acted reserved. Internally, by the power of their absorption, they began to witness the pastimes of Krishna in a continuous stream. The gopis had so much bhakti and prema for Krishna, but were worried about their future. Soon I will be young, and my body will be very attractive. Many dog-like men will come to attack and acquire me for their enjoyment. How can they be blind and not observe me? I desire to be the sole property of Krishna. These are the gopis. They were young. They were 3 years old when they were praying and doing these vrats. Of course, they were very mature for their age.
Can't hear you, Prabhu.
Oh, can anybody hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear you.
Oh, maybe Shyammalini, maybe come back in again. Go out and come back in.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, I can hear you.
Maybe Shyammalini's microphone is playing up. Maybe just send her a message, if you could. Shyammalini. Just 1 second. Yeah. They were afraid that soon they would be married off and sent out of Braj. These were the young gopis. But they were doing this fast, right? Katyayani, Vrata. When the gopis' parent began to think, I will arrange my daughter's marriage. And then Yogamaya and Krishna orchestrated a wonderful Leela. So this is a very fascinating Leela. Brahma came. He stole the calves. He stole the gopas, the sakhas, the friends of Krishna. He put them in the cave for one of his moments. Okay. Then Krishna, thinking he could return to Gokul, he could not return to Gokul without all his friends and calves. He assumed their exact forms. So this is the pastime where Lord Brahma steals the gopas because he's looking at them. They're having a picnic. And he's thinking, is this Krishna really God? Because in the picnic, they would have some really amazing pastimes. And some of these pastimes bewildered Brahma. So they would, for example, they would, in these pastimes, they would be having lunch and say, Madhu Mangal would have a big gulab jamun and Krishna would say, can I have a bit of that gulab jamun? And Madhu Mangal would put it all in his mouth as to tease Krishna. And Krishna would grab his cheeks and the juice from the gulab jamun would come out and it'll fall on Krishna's clothes. And he would be licking that juice and saying to Madhu Mangal, that's really tasty. And Lord Brahma is looking, thinking, what is going on? How can Krishna be eating if he's God, how is he eating the remnants of his devotees' food? So he tested Krishna. He stole the calves and the sakhas. And Krishna, he didn't want the cows to be sad or the gopas and the gopis, elderly gopis to be sad. So he immediately expanded himself into all the cows and all of the gopas, so Sakha friends. And he did this for 1 full year. That was one moment of Brahma is equal to 1 full year of ours. Krishna could immediately could have chastised Brahma and recovered his associates. But to satisfy the desires of the Brajvasis, he didn't. The mothers for Krishna to be their son, the gopis for Krishna to be their beloved, and the cows for him to be their calf. So he did these 3 things in one go. He expanded himself as the gopas. So the mothers of those gopas were so pleased by their son. They couldn't believe how much they loved their son during this year. Well, they did because he was Krishna. The gopis, how did they become beneficiaries of this Leela? Purnamasi made an arrangement. This is an auspicious time for the gopis to marry the gopis. Of course, all the gopas were Krishna. And so Krishna married all the gopis. And of course, the cows, they've had so much affection for the calves. It was because the calves were Krishna himself. Krishna acted as if nothing had happened and returned to Gokul. This pastime continued for the whole year. During that time, all the acharyas, priests, and brahmins announced to the Brajbasi parents and elders, this year is very special and auspicious. All the unwed girls should be married during this year. If you arrange this for them, they will be very happy and auspicious lives, have auspicious lives free of difficulty. The Brajbasis agreed to the proposal and arranged marriages of all the young girls at Govinda Kund in Govardhan. Hundreds of young yajna kunds were prepared, and throughout the day, sacrificial fires were burning brightly with the ghee, kindling, and grains offered. All the Brajbasi mothers and fathers brought their daughters after arranging the girls' marriages with the parents of their qualified sons. Madhu Mangal, Sridham, Sudama, Dam, Vasudam, Labanga, Arjun, all the Sakhas were married. Srimati Radharani, observing this fantastic display of ceremonies along with her Sakhis, and they considered, who are all these boys? She recognized Krishna and understood that although the boys appeared to be the same Sakhas as always, in truth, they were none other than Krishna. And each of the gopis that were married to the Sakhas also realized that in truth, they were Krishna. He had changed his external figure and then married alone these millions of gopis. Radharani then exhibited mana, anger, and only when Krishna in his original form fell at her feet and supplicated her for grace did she finally forgive him. So it was interesting how we were reading, Karuna sang a beautiful bhajan by Govinda Das where Radharani is showing her anger or jealousy. Srimati Radharani and her Sakhis were also married that year. For 1 year, all the gopis had the chance to openly speak and spend time with Krishna. In this way, Krishna fulfilled the gopis' desires to have him as their husband. After 1 year, Brahma, for whom the time had passed like a few moments, repented and returned the Sakhas and calves. Because he came back and he looked and thought, oh, what's happened? I thought I kidnapped the Sakhas and the calves. They're all still here though. Then he realized, oops, he made a mistake. The Sakhas went to their homes thinking it was the same day. They thought, so what happened 1 year back? Krishna just killed Aghasur. But for 1 year, nothing was mentioned about the killing of Aghasur because Krishna had assumed the form of all the gopas. So now, when the gopas were returned by Brahma, they thought that it was the same day. So they were thinking, this morning I went with Krishna and the calves to forest. We all entered the mouth of Aghasur and fell senseless from his poison. Krishna rejuvenated us and accompanied us home. But now they're thinking, hey, what's this girl doing living in our house? Because they were married in the meantime. Yes, Bhavin. You must be muted, yeah, Bhavin.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, were all the gopas were in that, what did you say, Sura, Bakasura?
Aghasur.
Aghasur mouth.
That's
So,
right.
were they all unconscious, fall asleep?
They became unconscious. Krishna saved them. And then Krishna killed Aghasur. And then Brahma came and he kidnapped the Gopas for 1 full year. In that full year, the gopis were married to all these Gopas. Now, the Gopas didn't know this, right? Because Brahma had kidnapped them. So when they came back home, when Brahma released them, they came back home. They found this girl living in the house and they were thinking, what's going on here?
1 year. All right. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. And now they must have found out it's their wife.
Yeah.
Thank you.
When their parents reminded the inquiring Gopas that the gopis were their wives, they became astonished. What do you mean? We never married anybody.
All right. Thank you.
In disbelief, they ran to Krishna and asked him, hey, dear brother, do you know why the gopis living in our homes? Our father says they are our wives. Krishna calmed the boys and said, after you entered Agasura, his poison had a lingering effect. So I sent the gopis to help you at home. They're all Devis, goddesses, and are to be greatly respected. By their divine influence, you will be free of the poison of Agasur and will never have any disturbance. So Krishna gave them a very nice excuse. The Sakhas, who had complete faith in Krishna, said,
yes, this is good. We will respect and honor the gopis. We can never consider them our wives.
So the Sakhas never considered them their wives because Krishna had advised them, actually, they're Devis, they're goddesses. They come to protect you. In Yavad, Abhimanyu thought,
Vrishabhanu Raja Nandani Srimati Radharani has come to my home. I'll worship her daily.
so Abhimanyu is the son of, what's her name?
Jatila.
Jatila. That's right. Jatila is the mother-in-law of Radharani, and there's a lot of pastimes between them. But Abhimanyu never thought of Radharani as her wife. He never went in her room and himself lived in a room built outside the house. He would bring flowers, fruits, honey, milk, and other things and would give them to Jatila and Kutila, saying, please give this to Radharani. They would say, why don't you give it to her yourself? You never spend time with her.
Oh, I cannot. He was very shy.
You will not?
No.
Why?
I'm insignificant. She is Vrishabhanu Raja Nandini. I will honor and worship her only.
He had no other desire than this. The Sakhas never considered the gopis their possessions or objects of enjoyment. The gopis did not go out of Brajdham, Majmandal, and they were not contaminated. When they went to meet with Krishna, they were never disturbed. But then this Vrata is not for everyone. This Katyayani Vrata. It is not for the karmis, jnanis, or yogis. This Vrata is especially for those who wish to serve Radharani under the guidance of the Braj Devis. This Vrata is not for those in Chantaras, Dasyaras, Sakyaras, or Vatsaliras. So this Vrata is something very unique. It's not for those who are servants of Krishna or friends of Krishna or parents of Krishna. It's for the lovers of Krishna. It's only for those who are aspiring to serve Radha Krishna in Madhurya Ras. By truly following this Vrat, one will become naked of material possessions, desires, everything one has previously valued. Following this Vrat will make one a sannyasi. If one does not fear renouncing everything and becoming a destitute beggar in rags, going door to door and have no more helpers, friends, or relatives, then you can try to follow this Vrat. So it's a strong warning. If you're going to do this Vrat, be ready. Be ready to lose everything because you'll only have Krishna left. But of course, Krishna is enough. But if one wants sense gratification or the opulence of Dwaka, or if one wants health, wealth, name, fame, followers, disciples, temples, opulence, then there's no need to follow this Vrat. This Vrat is completely different. It is against this world and the body, senses, and mind. So this is Katyayani Vrat. It's today is the day it begins for about 30 days. And the gopis, those who want to associate with Krishna in a loving mood, as a lover, they will try to perform this Vrat. It's a really tough one for a whole 30 days. Okay, any questions or any comments?
Yep, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Okay, Malini, carry on. I afterward.
Okay, sorry, Mataji. If you want, you can.
No, Mataji, thank you. You carry on.
Yeah. No, Prabhu, I just wanted to know, Radharani, you said married
Abhimanyu.
Abhimanyu. Was it when the Gopal
Yes.
went to that time?
That 1 year. In that 1 year, when Krishna expanded himself to all the Gopas, including Abhimanyu,
Oh, I see.
married
So
Radharani.
that means Krishna married Radharani then.
That's it. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Yes, thank you.
And the way Krishna explained to them about how these Devis are there to protect you from the poison of Aghasura, so you treat them with great respect. So throughout their lives with the gopis, they always treated them with like Devis, not their wives.
Yes. And you know, you said Yoga Maya is sorry,
Subhadra.
so it's Subhadra.
Yes.
Yoga Maya, okay.
So that's the Yoga Maya is spiritual, completely spiritual. Mahamaya is Durga Maya, who's in touch with this material world. Just
So
like
when Krishna came, when Krishna was born,
yes,
and who was it that was exchanged? Was it Yoga Maya or
yes, Yoga
Mahamaya?
Yoga Maya,
Yoga Maya.
Yoga Maya. That's correct. That's correct.
All
Yeah,
right.
there's two Durgas. There's the Yoga Maya Durga, and then there's the Mahamaya Durga, and it's easy to confuse between the two.
Yes, because I always come. Yeah, thank you. So it wasn't Durga Mother. That's okay.
Not
No,
the
when
Durga Maya of
Krishna
this world. It's Durga Maya of the spiritual world, who is Subhadra.
Okay, so when we celebrate, people we do Navratri. So which one is it we're celebrating? That's Durga Maya.
Yes. The devotees will be worshipping Yoga Maya, but the karmis they'll be worshipping Mahamaya, because as far as they're concerned, she will fulfill their material desires. But the devotees know, hey, no way, we don't worship Durga Maya, the Mahamaya. We worship the spiritual Durga.
Okay. Oh, that's clear. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. And actually, Subhadra is an expansion of Radharani. Ultimately, Radharani is the source of Yoga Maya as well. She's the source of it. So, yeah.
Does that mean it's an expansion of Radharani?
Yeah. Subhadra is an expansion of Radharani.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And Bimla Devi, that's Durga Ma, is it? Bimla Devi.
Again, yes, Bimla Devi is Durga Mai in the material world, but we worship the spiritual Bimla Devi, Durga Mai, Subhadra, like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Prabhuji,
Yes, Nani.
you said Subhadra is the one who is the Krishna's sister,
Yeah, correct.
and she's the expansion of Radharani.
Yeah, yeah. All of the female forms are expansion of Radharani. Chandravali as well.
And the Ashtasakhis are also expansions?
Yeah, Ashtasakhi
Okay.
expansions of Radharani. Absolutely. Absolutely. She's the fountainhead of all the gopis and the manjaris.
Okay, so you are Subhadra. And the sort of the Yogmaya who sort of warned Kansa, that is Subhadra as well?
Yes, that was Subhadra. Yes, that's correct. That was Yogamaya. And Mahamaya, yeah, that was Yogamaya, because
That's Yogmaya, yes.
she came with Krishna. She came with Krishna. So if you remember, to Yashoda Maya, there were two children who came. There was Yoga Maya and there was baby Krishna.
Mm.
Yeah. And then that Yoga Maya was taken by Vasudev to Mathura. And Yoga Maya has many expansions as well, unlimited expansions. So like Bimla Devi, Katyayani, so many expansions.
Okay.
Mhm. Very complex.
Mm.
We can't understand it really, but we try.
Finish?
Yes, and yes, Bhavin.
Yeah, when you asked Katyayani Vrata, does it mean we have to do Vrat about her? Vrat?
Only if
What
only
sort of Vrat we do?
it's a tough Vrat. No, we don't do this one. This is for
All
the,
right.
especially for the gopis.
Gopis,
Because
okay.
yeah, it's those who, if we do this Vrat, basically, Prabhupada, you lose everything. Krishna will just make us a beggar, and
Oh,
but he will give himself. So
okay.
if we want to have that sort of relationship with Krishna, then we can do this Vrat. But if we still want to enjoy in this world, name, fame, wealth, then we can't do this Vrat.
All right. And the second thing, when they say that when Krishna was born, they always say the Yog Maya was born on that day.
Yes.
And Yog Maya had to give herself to keep Krishna alive. That's
No,
what
no.
they say.
No,
No?
she's eternal. She's spiritual energy. She's part of the spirit.
Because when Banasur wanted to kill her, but she didn't die, she just went up.
Yeah, comes. That's right. She just flew up in the sky.
Sky, yeah.
He could not. He couldn't even touch her. He couldn't
He
even.
couldn't even touch her, right?
Yeah, couldn't even touch her because
Thank you.
she's spiritual, completely spiritual.
Spiritual. And the way you explain now is that Yog Maya is still Radharani. It's nice to know these things.
Expansion of Radharani.
The expansion of, yeah, it's very nice to know. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your interest. Thank you.
So,
very much.
Yeah, good. I've just been shopping, but I have missed some of it, but doesn't matter.
Sure. You can catch
I
up.
say I will put the shopping
Yeah.
afterward. I can carry on with the satsang now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you can catch up with the recording anyway. So, yes, Naniben?
yes, so nobody does this Vrat. Katyayani.
Only the gopis. This is for the gopis. And if say your mood is not Dasya Ras, it's not Shantaras, it's not Sakyaras, it's not Vatsalya Ras. You don't want to become parent of Krishna or friend of Krishna or servant but you want to have that loving relationship, then this Vrat is critical. Then this Vrat is a must, because this Vrat will lead one to that Manjari or Gopi Bhav. And that might not happen in this life, because, this might be something that happens in another life. If our desires are that we want to become lover of Krishna, then it might be that in the next life, this Katyayani Vrat is observed, so that we enter into that mood and that pastime, those pastimes.
Okay.
But it's a very tough Vrat, because the gopis, the way they did it, they would just have this khichdi without salt. I'll just go back to, this is the beginning, how Sukadev Goswami explains this Vrat. It's in the Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 22nd chapter. Oops, first verse. Here it is. Sukadev Goswami said, during the first month of the winter season, so today is the first day, the young unmarried girls of Gokul observed the vow of worshipping goddess Katyayani. For the entire month, they ate only unspiced khichdi. Whole month.
No, so didn't drink any water or anything.
Oh, no, they would. They would have water, milk. They would drink all that. Yes. Without water, very difficult to sustain the material body.
Unspiced khichdi.
Yeah, it's a tough Vrat,
It is.
but it's just good to understand because it's in the calendar. And I thought we should really understand why it's in the calendar. But it's not a Vrat that we follow unless one is in that mood of the gopis, or manjaris. But we are a million billion miles away from that. So, okay, thank you so much, everybody. Good discussion. Hey, is that okay, Naniman?
Yes, that's fine.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Katyayani Vrata ki jai, Gopi Bhav ki jai, Manjari Devi ki jai, Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagwan ki jai.